Imagine walking home alone, the streets empty, the wind rustling through the trees. Then, a woman in a surgical mask appears, staring at you. Her eyes are cold, and when she speaks, her question pierces the night. Am I pretty? This is the nightmare known as the Slit-Mouthed Woman.
By the end of this story, you'll understand why some people refuse to answer a stranger at night, even today. The legend of the Slit-Mouthed Woman, or Kuchisake-Onna in Japanese, has haunted Japan for decades. Her name literally means mouth-split woman. Kuchi meaning mouth, sake meaning split, and Onna meaning woman. They say she was once a beautiful woman, but suffered a horrific fate, either mutilated by a jealous husband or cursed by a vengeful spirit. Now, she roams the streets wearing a surgical mask, hiding a grotesque slit that stretches from ear to ear. She's often described as unnaturally tall, with long, straight black hair, pale skin, and eerily white hands, still retaining a terrifying beauty despite her disfigurement. In her hands, she carries sharp tools like scissors or knives, ready to strike at anyone who crosses her path. According to the legend, if she approaches and asks, "Am I beautiful?" the answer you give could determine your fate. Say no, and she might kill you immediately or stalk you until nightfall. Say yes, and she will reveal her horrific mouth, asking again. Hesitate or answer incorrectly, and she may carve your mouth to match hers. Some tales even say the only way to survive is to call her appearance average, buying just enough time to escape. The Slit-Mouthed Woman isn't just a ghost story. She is a modern-day yokai, a malevolent spirit who blends beauty and terror, always waiting in the shadows to strike. But this wasn't just another ghost story. It was a warning. Parents whispered it to their children, reminding them never to speak to strangers, especially after dark. Many believe the legend of the Slit-Mouthed Woman emerged as a way to protect the vulnerable, a story crafted to keep kids cautious, women alert, and communities aware of the dangers that lurked at night. During the late 1970s in Japan, reports of a masked woman chasing children spread panic across towns and cities. Schools even issued group dismissal times so no child would walk home alone. Whether the events were real or mass hysteria, the myth reinforced a powerful message: danger can hide behind a friendly face. Some folklorists suggest it symbolized society's fear of changing times, urban isolation, rising crime, and the anxiety of trust in a modern world. In that sense, Kuchisake-Onna became more than a ghost. She was a mirror of collective fear, teaching that safety often depends on silence and distance. Over time, tragedy, morality, and superstition blended into a single story meant to keep people safe, even if it meant keeping them afraid. They say seeing her is something you never forget. Behind the mask, her mouth is split wide, jagged, unnatural, stretching from ear to ear. Witnesses claim she moves slowly at first, scissors glinting in her hands, her breath cold enough to sting the air. Some describe the world around her growing heavy and silent, as if even the shadows stop to watch. A few report feeling her brush against their hair or hearing faint laughter echo long after she's gone. Others insist she changes form, sometimes an ordinary woman, sometimes unnaturally tall, nearly 8 feet. Always silent, always patient, always waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Of course, none of these accounts have ever been verified. There's no solid proof, only stories, passed from witness to witness, growing darker each time they're told. But even after she's gone, they say the fear remains. People claiming to be survivors describe how certain places feel different afterward, especially dark alleyways. They speak of footsteps echoing behind them when the street is empty, of whispers carried through the wind, and the feeling that someone is just out of sight. Some even say they've glimpsed her reflection in rain puddles or windows along those narrow paths, watching, waiting, just beyond the light. Psychologists call it trauma, skeptics call it folklore, but believers swear once you've seen her, a part of her stays with you. Maybe that's her real curse, not death, but the thought that she might still be out there, waiting for the next person who dares to look too long. On the surface, it's a gruesome ghost story, but underneath, it reflects deep cultural fears, jealousy, betrayal, and punishment for vanity. In Japan's folklore, beauty often comes with a price, and Kuchisake-Onna became the embodiment of that warning. Some believe the story was born from real anxieties about societal pressure, especially toward women. Expectations to be perfect, silent, and obedient. Her disfigurement represents what happens when those ideals are broken. In older versions, she was said to be the wife of a samurai, punished for infidelity. Her beauty turned against her. In newer tellings, she's a symbol of urban fear, a reminder that danger can appear in everyday places, from quiet neighborhoods to empty streets. The tale teaches children to be cautious of strangers and reminds adults that what we desire most, beauty, trust, admiration, can also destroy us. Over the decades, the legend has inspired countless adaptations in books, films, and urban storytelling, keeping the fear alive across generations. And its endurance shows how folklore can shape behavior, turning anxiety into lessons and lessons into lasting myth. It's not just a horror story, it's a reflection of how societies use fear to enforce morality. And like most good legends, it survives because it still feels true.
In some towns, she appears in schoolyards. In others, she waits along deserted roads. Some say answering her question yes saves you. Others say it condemns you. The legend bends with the retelling, but it never dies. No matter the variation, the slit-mouthed woman remains a symbol of lurking danger, always waiting for the next encounter. Some stories even claim the only way to escape her grasp is to confuse her by giving a vague or tricky answer that stalls her, buying just enough time to run away.
But before we accept this story as truth, it's important to look at the evidence more closely. Folklorists trace versions of the Kuchisake-Onna legend as far back as the Edo period, between the 17th and 19th centuries. But the modern story we know today only exploded in 1978 and 1979, when newspapers and magazines spread rumors that terrified schoolchildren. The panic grew so large that teachers began escorting students home and police increased patrols, yet not a single verified encounter was ever reported. Even decades later, there's still no concrete proof. In 2007, a coroner uncovered obituary records of a woman killed in a car accident around the same time the rumors resurfaced in the late 70s. Some theorize her death may have fueled the hysteria, but that is speculation, not evidence. The sudden surge of panic in 1979 stopped by August, showing how quickly the hysteria was fueled by rumors rather than actual events. Additionally, the legend's adaptations in Korea and in modern films demonstrate how it has persisted culturally rather than as a documented phenomenon. And unlike true crime cases or documented paranormal investigations, there are no police records, photographs, or physical evidence to support the sightings. Instead, the legend survives because it preys on fear, spreading from whispered stories in schoolyards to headlines in the media. When we look at the facts, the slit-mouthed woman seems less like a real figure haunting Japan's streets and more like a story that snowballed through rumor, fear, and pop culture.
So the next time you walk alone after dark and someone approaches, asking if they're pretty, be careful. Because legends like the slit-mouthed woman don't fade away. They wait in the shadows, in the corner of your eye, and sometimes right behind you. Could you stay calm enough to survive if she appeared to you tonight? Or would you make a mistake that could cost you everything? And if you think this story is terrifying, wait until you hear about the next legend lurking in the night.